Alright guys, so I am hopping on here. Um, so basically what this video is going to be is the specific guns that I use on here for those that play Battlefield 6. Um, so really, with the assault class, really the only three assault rifles that I use out of all of them is the B36A4, the SOR 556, or the Cord. Those are the mainly the three um, or not SMGs, but the assault rifles that I use on here. People have their own preferences on um, what attachments to use, but usually the attachments that I use on here is I have the ROM, the 1.75 times sight red dot. I have hollow points on here. I use a 30 fast mag. With the vertical grip, I use the 6H64 vertical. I use the heavy barrel. And then with the converter, usually I use a converter or either of the brakes. I don't use the flash hider. I'm not a big fan of the flash hider attachment on any of the guns. But with the SOR 556, I use the PVQ 31 4 times scope on it. And with the other attachments, I have the rail cover, hollow points, the 40 round magazine. With the vertical grip, I use the alloy vertical. But you can also use the ribbed vertical, which I might. It's going to take down your mobility a little bit, but it does add a little bit of precision and control. So I'm actually going to change it to that to make it easier to use. I use the extended barrel for more range, and then with the brake, I use a single port brake. I really don't use the accessories that much. And then with the cord, with the attachments on here, I use the 1P87 1.5 times sight. And then I use I don't know how you pronounce that, I don't know how you pronounce that, but that's what I use for the ammo type I have on this gun. And then I use the 30 fast mag with the vertical grip. I use the classical vertical. Usually that's going to be the best grip on this gun that I have so far on here. But it looks like that's going to be this is probably going to be the best grip to use. This one will also be good because it adds a little bit of mobility, but your precision and control is going to be the same. So honestly, I would just stick with the classical vertical grip on here. I don't know about the, yeah. So I would stick with the classical vertical grip on this gun. So with the carbines, I really don't use the carbines all that often, but The ones I would really recommend is the M4A1 or the AK205. Um, the AK205 is going to be more controllable than the M4. And then with the SMGs, oh, excuse me. Usually the three main SMGs that I use on here is the PDW 5A3, the PDW or the PW 7A2, or the USG. But the ones that I would stick with is the PW 5A3 or the PW 7A2. Um, but if you want a SMG that's very easy to shoot, I would stick with the PW5A3. So I'll show you the attachments I have on this gun. So with the sight, I have the 3VZR, the 1.75 times sight, and then with the ammo, it would probably just be better to stick with the standard. Really, the only thing that really changes is that when you go to hollow point, you have a better headshot multiplier. Because with these, it's 1.34 for headshots. But once you get the hollow points, it's going to be a 1.50 headshot multiplier. And then with the synthetic, it would be a 1.75 headshot multiplier. But obviously, I don't have these three unlocked yet. Because I would have to do a little bit more work with it. And then with the LMGs, really the only two that I would stick with for the LMGs is the L110 or the RPK. But in my personal opinion, I would stick with the L110. So with the L110, with the attachments, I have the sight, the CCO, 2 times sight, and then I have a green laser, which that would be the 5NW green. And then with the brake, I would stick with the double port brake. Um, with this one, it really doesn't matter which one you use, because you see with the precision, it goes from 38 to 39, so it's really not going to be that big of a difference. And then with the barrel, I use the um, 465 LB. And then usually I don't like running lights, so I'm gonna end up taking that off. With the grip, honestly, I would use the 6H64 vertical, since that's gonna be the best grip so far that I have on here. Yeah. So yeah, I would stick with the 6H64 vertical, since that's gonna be the best grip to use to control the LMG. With the magazine, I don't have the 200 round unlocked yet, which I gotta figure out what the mastery where this gun is at. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. So it's at 24 mastery right now. So once I do one more mastery, then I will be able to unlock this 200 round belt fed LMG. But the DMR is really the only DMR I would stick with is the M39 EMR. So the attachments that I have on here, I have the SVPS 6x scope on here. And then I also have a green laser, which would be the 5NW green. And then with the brake, I have a single port brake, which that's going to be probably the best to use to pretty much help it to, I guess, easier to control if you have this one on here. And then I have the extended barrel, the light. I don't like using the light since it's really more for mid to long range. With the vertical, I use rib vertical, which that's going to be the best one that I have as of right now. And then with the magazine, I have the 20 round fast magazine on here. And then with the ammo type, I only have the standard. But by the look of it, it looks like the lightweight is going to be the best ammo type to use on this gun. And then with the sniper rifles, I use the SV98. So with the attachments I have on here, you can use any sight to your, I guess, need or want. But it looks like the 8x scope is probably going to be the best for long range. Yeah. So as of right now, this will be the best one I have unlocked for this gun. And then with the DLC bolt, basically what that does is that enables you to rechamber while aiming down the sights. So you don't have to aim, shoot, unaim, and then re-aim. So basically this helps you to keep your target in sight and pretty much reload your gun. With the ammo type, I have the long range. So that's probably going to be the best one to use for this sniper rifle. And then I have the, well, you only get a 10 round mag for this gun. Grips, I really don't use grips until I get the bipod. Basically the bipods are used to, they're pretty much used to help you aim better down sight. And then usually I don't use a rangefinder. I don't use lights. I really never like lights unless it's a map that is kind of dark. And then the last, I guess, guns are the shotguns. So, really, the only shotguns that I would use is the M1014 or the 18.5K SK. Um, Me, preferably, I like to use the semi-auto shotguns instead of pump shotguns. Mainly for uh, close range. That's why I use the semi-auto for close range. Because you can get more rounds down sight without waiting for it to cycle through. So basically, I just wanted to get on here to tell you guys of what specific guns that I use on this game. If you like this content, feel free to subscribe and like these videos. And see you guys later.